Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Enigmatica 6 Expert. So since the last episode, I have been doing a bit of cleaning up down here. You can see I've kind of decorated this area out, and been working on this just a little bit. I did start glassing this out, but of course, we haven't finished this area, so I'm not filling in the rest of the glass just yet. And then kind of glassed in this a little bit, just to kind of frame in the formulaic assemblicators there. And let's see. I did run through our creosote, made up a bunch of treated wood. We're going to be automating that process soon enough, but I did go ahead and make up a bunch of that. And I've got a few things set up for this episode as well. And I do have some of our metal bees going because we're starting to eat through quite a bit of metal here. So I did go ahead and get those set up and running as well. And I got a few additional machines plugged up to this. All of our induction smelters are over here. I did add a few more to cover the recipes that we will need. And also centrifugal separator. This isn't running fully right now, but it will be used. And I am using it for our dyes. All 16 dyes run through here from the mystical flowers, mystical flower petals. Of course, we don't have mystical flowers automated just yet, but we will be soon enough. And then I also just got this set up. This is on connectors, but it's not the XNet controller. It's not doing anything right now because we will be supplying this with power, but we do have some controllers here, or some connectors, I'm sorry, and then a little arcane pedestal set up, moved from up there finally down to here. So, and then that coming through a splitter, and then a lot of source jars as sort of storage over here. But anyways, what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be kind of starting back into magic a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and light ourselves a fire. This time we're doing it on netherrack. This will be a permanent occultism flame setup. And we're going to start moving back into a bit of magic automation, getting us set up for blood magic and stuff. You know, we do have arcane stone automated. I also did set up firmament for automation, and I've already got the stuff in place to set up for sparks as well. But sparks, I think I'm just going to do that as a crafting recipe, like an on-demand crafting recipe, whereas firmament and arcane stone are stocking. Firmament, right now, we're keeping about a stack stocked, and then arcane stone, of course, we have a bunch, because it made a bunch while my corporeal system was unplugged briefly. So, but anyways, today we've got a bit to do. I think we're going to start off with, and let me go ahead and just put that in there for right now. I think we're going to start off with getting into actually producing some aura, and we're going to be going with the Herbiferous, of course. It is probably my favorite starting one anyways, but it is quite effective. Let me go ahead and grab a little bit of living wood. Let me get the stuff together here. Glyph of Harvest. We're going to need 3 infused sun metal. And I do have 1 in here. And I am going to need 1 piece of firmament as well. Okay, so let's pop up here. Let's go ahead and get this stuff converted over. Hopefully we have enough aura left in this area to get this stuff made. Yeah, it's looking good. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get our botanist hoe. And let's see. Also need the token of joy and the sunny blossom. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our Glyph of Harvest, and I think we're all set. There we go. Task completed. I don't know what task that's for, but I think it was one of the R's tasks, if I recall, from a bit back. But we'll be jumping around just a bit for all of our different magic mods, so let's go ahead and get that. And there we go. There's our Herbiferous Absorber. And that does complete a quest here. We're going to get a Rare Nature's Aura loot box. So let's go ahead and take that. Okay. What's it take for the environmental eye? Meet your fight. Okay, it's not too bad. What did we get? It looks like we got a token of joy. And we'll be getting this automated once we get our sylph up and going. But for right now, we'll come in right over here for now. Let's go ahead and we'll set up our Herbiferous right there. And then, of course, we can alternate flower types. Now, I'm not for sure if Veiled Mushroom will work. No, I don't think so. But ideally, you want at least like 6 different flowers to kind of alternate for optimal efficiency. But we'll go ahead and run a few. And hopefully that's going to fix my issues of pollution that I've got down here. You'll notice this grass being consumed and stuff. I imagine that, of course I did just run 4 flowers, but I imagine our aura is pretty low in this area. So let's take a look at what it's going to take for us to get our environmental eye at this point. Before we push on any more, for the Phantoplasm, we're going to need the Bell Ringer. Let's go ahead, and while we're at it, we might as well go ahead and do the other Meet Your Fight boss, because I think we need the Mossy Tooth for something. Or the Caged Heart. Yeah, Caged Heart is for the Apprentice Blood Orb. Okay, because we're going to be moving into that. So we might as well go ahead and do both of them. And these are both lightning crafts. So, and I'm going to be getting enough to kill each of these bosses 5 times, I think. Because we may as well go ahead and get a bit of their drops. Some of the drops I'm actually going to want to use, I think. Oh, 2048 Dweller Meat. Alright. See, we are prepared. But the Herbiferous, we'll fully automate that once we have our Sylph up and running. And we're going to need some Undergarden music discs. Let's go ahead. 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and grab those. And just to get the stuff out of our inventory, this is something I don't think we'll have a need to automate the boss summon items. So we're just going to be manually crafting these, I do believe. Luckily, these things are like dirt cheap at this point. Oh, and I will need fish bones for that. Okay. I'm over here at spawn because I think I'm going to go to the villager area because I imagine there's probably an armorer there. I don't usually get too much into villagers, but I think we might use it for the bales since there is no crafting recipe for those. But let's go ahead. Let's toss down that, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. Yeah, and I think that's it for that. And we'll go ahead and get ourselves our fossil baits. Oh, it looks like it does have a limit on those. Maybe because of the music discs? Well, it's weird. It gave me... Huh, I don't know. 4 is enough, though. That's fine. 4 fossil baits will be good. And then let's pop over to the villager trading area. Through here. This place is like super laggy, but they went through and they consolidated like all the like villager trading halls and put them all into one centralized location. So, and then we can just hit the trading post here and we can do a little bit of shopping. So we're going to be looking for a bale. It's so noisy here. Let's go ahead and get ourselves 4 of those. I'm going to borrow some emeralds from that. I can replace them here shortly. There we go. Go ahead and get ourselves 5 bales. Which we'll be taking a little bit closer look at some of the server kind of little things like that. Like the spawn area and the villager trading area and stuff like that. We'll be taking a little bit closer look at those into next week because we'll be doing the servitor stuff. So we'll be taking a look at that. It's possible, too, I may have just miscounted things because I just noticed I have 4 necklaces. I meant to have 5 for the haunted bale, so it is possible that I miscounted. But bear in mind, like, if you're playing in single player, you can just run around villages and just steal the bales. They're super common, so there is that option as well. But let's go ahead, toss those down. And there we go. We got Toll the Bale. Okay. So now we can go ahead. Let me just grab rapid damage, I guess. Should be fine. I'd rather not do this near cactuses, though, just so we don't have drops get destroyed. So let's come out, you know, somewhere a little bit flatter here. And we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and Toll the Bale. And we'll take on the Bell Ringer boss. Alright. This one just spawns some really easy to dodge stuff. Seems like every time it takes damage, too. There we go. And you are dead. So we got some ectoplasm, we got some gold, we got epic shader grab bag. That's all well and good. Let's go ahead. I'm going to kill this one 4 more times. And bear in mind that if you want to keep these and have them... I'm not for sure. I haven't tested them with the Drigme farm. But there is some ways that we could get them to kind of stay still. Long term, if there's any of these that we end up needing, I might do like a stasis chamber or something like that. But for the time being, I think we could just kill a few and we should be good. Because I don't think they're used for a whole lot of stuff. They're just kind of in the gating so that you do have to at least kill them once, I think, you know. You know, if you comboed this with like R's Creative Flight ritual, this would be a very easy boss. Because it would almost be like powerless to do much of anything if you just kind of floated. And just kind of did circles around it. But... And last bell ringer fight. For this one, let me go ahead and do our affliction spell. It seems like the snare doesn't really work, but you can see the damage difference there. Oh, I guess, did we kill it? Or did it despawn? Oh, we killed it. There we go. Okay, so there's our 5 bell ringers out of the way. And then we're going to take on our 4 swamp jaws. Which is, this one is kind of like the starter boss for the mod. So this one will be the easiest. We kind of worked our way backwards a little bit. There he is. Haha. I swear, we're like unkillable in this. Oh, we got phantoms? No, we don't have phantoms. Because we have the trinket that doesn't allow phantoms to attack us. You know what's funny? If I was to line up a single Kamehameha, I think we could one-shot this boss. Yeah, we did get it. Where are you at? Get out of here. Let's go ahead and try it. We'll see if we can manage to one-shot this boss. It's just important that we line up the damage. Oh no, it doesn't one-shot it. I don't know if there's a damage cap, because we did almost as much damage with this spell as our big super damage, so I feel like there might be some sort of a damage cap on these bosses. So, rapid damage, definitely the way to go. Just rapidly attack it there. Okay, and we got one more kill in on us. So that boss is dealt with. By the way, we have a ton of levels. I've unlocked a few more trinket slots. I think, yeah, we're up to the 55. 55, really? Yeah, I guess so. The 55 level one. Which really, whenever I get back, I should probably pop. Like I said, I've got basically infinite experience, so. Because all I gotta do is just go by here and grab these. So there's another one. Next up is 60. And we can go ahead and get the 61. It looks like that's the last one. Okay. So in that case, I'm just going to take broken heart pieces. And that way we'll have a few extra hearts for our max health. Pretty like Gaia Guardian, you know. And eating more food, which I have been working on. It takes a little bit. We'll do a bit more with that soon enough, though. Alright, before we make our environmental eye, let's go ahead. We're going to make ourselves a bone raker at this point with our mossy tooth, and the rest of this can go, and that can go. I want to switch out our vampiric glove, because this is only for melee attacks, and we don't actually do that many melee attacks, so we're going to go ahead and switch this for the bone raker, because that's going to boost our damage a little bit. And it should transfer over to spells as well, so. Yeah, 12.1. Oh, actually, it's the same. That's unfortunate. That's okay. We're going to keep it on. Oh, and it doesn't actually have a graphic on our hand. That's unfortunate, too, actually. I don't know if I like it that much anymore. Certain things that boost your damage will work with magic, but certain things won't. So, and then we're going to go ahead and take our Phantoplasm, and we're going to create ourselves the Spectral Amulet, or Spectre's Eye. Oh, it's 6 golden coins. My bad. I thought it was just 2 for some reason. And some of this other stuff that you could make with like the Phantoplasm and the Caged Heart, some of them are pretty good. Honestly, Caged Heart wouldn't be bad. What would we have to give up for that, though? Ace of Iron. Yeah, see, I'd rather keep my Ace of Iron. Maybe for PvP, Caged Heart might be better than Ace of Iron. But Spectre's Eye is actually pretty good, and the Spectre's Grasp, honestly, it might be better to go with that. Since the damage from Bone Raker doesn't come through, maybe having the extra reach distance would be better, like for building and stuff like that. Passage's Toll is pretty good, especially if you're getting it like pre-pyramids, but it's not that crazy for us. So we might end up making one, but not right now. But anyways, let's go ahead. Let's lay this out. Then we'll put that onto there. And the sapling that we're going to need for this is one of the Twisted Saplings from Architect's Palette. So we can throw that in. Is it a chance? Yeah, actually, I think it might just be a chance. Okay, well, in that case, let's pop out. Let's get ourselves a few more saplings. Let's see. Maybe we actually have to go into the nether and pick them up. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's our Twisted Saplings. So you do have to come through and get them. Anyways, we can go ahead and get this crafted up. I like that wood, to be honest. But there is our environmental eye. And you can see the aura around. Yeah, because my altar was set up right over there. So there's like no aura whatsoever in this area. But let's pop over to our pyramid. Yeah, you can see the aura here is like, there's none. There's like no aura whatsoever. That's okay. Now, like I said, we will be fully automating this a little bit later on. For right now, I do need to go out and I need to get another type of flower. Mystical flowers work just fine. That's kind of more of my long-term plan for this, but... And we'll actually be moving towards that over the coming episodes and actually getting the Sylph set up, as well as a new method for source generation. It's probably going to be our last source generation setup. So we'll have the 3. You know, we've got the lava one, we've got the food and crop growth one, and then we're going to have one more. There is going to be one that we're not going to use, and it's actually the only one that we're not going to use is the one that we use pretty much exclusively for Spellbound, so, which is the mob damage one. Because we play somewhat pacifist on this one. Our mob farms are kind of passive mob farms and stuff, and we're playing kind of peaceful. Okay, now we should be good. Let's go ahead. We're going to get the flowers kind of that we have the most of laid out here, which will be these. And we're going to go ahead and just start adding them in. Let me get one more, though. And you can see our aura is actually shooting up at this point. Right now, it's a little bit manual to have to do this, but it's not too bad. And we'll be able to make this a whole lot easier here soon. I just need to deal with my aura because I've got pollution in this area. And as you saw, I pretty much had like no aura left here. And it was something we really need to deal with so that we could actually craft nature's aura stuff here. Because that was going to end up being a little bit of an issue for us. Alright, so you can see our aura is now sitting really, really nice. With just a handful of flowers. And once again, you don't want to keep using the same kind too much, but we're going to go ahead and use up what we have on us, just to kind of top that off a little bit. Now, of course, technically there is a bar kind of above this. We'll be able to unlock that later and take our aura up higher. But if we go over, you should see that the aura in the surrounding areas is substantially better too, and that should counteract our pollution effects that are over here, because the aura over here is about mid-range. It actually looks like some of the pollution over here is starting to clear up, and we're starting to get grass spreading through this area. So it's something we want to deal with, because eventually it's going to start eating the leaves and stuff off our trees. And you know, since I am kind of needing this area, for my latex production and stuff. It's kind of imperative that we got rid of that pollution as soon as possible. So, all right, now let's go ahead and get ourselves. Let's get that. Let's get some red string, and then we're gonna go ahead and craft ourselves 4. What am I missing? Oh, I miscounted living rock. Okay, 1 second. I counted as taking 6 instead of taking 7. So, oh no, I didn't. My other 4 was right here, and I forgot about them. All right, so there is our 7 red string containers. We're gonna get ourselves 2 entangled blocks, and what we're gonna do? Let's go ahead. Let me grab our entangled binder, and we're gonna go ahead and entangle. Let's set it up. Let's actually come under the floor right here, because we're going to have a few things running off of this XNet system over the upcoming episodes. We're also going to be adding in our water crafting for making like clay and things like that, because it's going to be progressively more important for us. So let's go ahead. Actually, this needs to be connector. And we're going to put ourselves in an XNet controller right here. Now this, of course, is going to need power. We're going to go ahead and grab this with our entangled binder. And then let's come over. Let's come down in here. And what we're going to do is just plug in. We're going to set up our entangled block there and just connect that up. And that way we can feed power into our controller without having to run our power cables over. Here pretty soon we're going to be getting rid of a lot of these power cables that are ran over to this controller, because we're only using it to power that controller. You can see these don't actually plug into anything pretty much past this point. So we're going to be cutting out all of those for entangled blocks. It's just kind of a working up to that thing. But that way this controller will have power. Now, the reason I have these all labeled as Enchant Pedestal 1 and Enchant 1 Main is because down the road we may have additional enchanting apparatuses, maybe, if we find that we need it. So I've just labeled these all as 1 at the moment. So that's got power. Now, before we actually start using that, though, we need to come over to this, and we're going to go ahead and set up, I forgot my crafting, and actually let me pop over. I ordered some crafting modules. Let's go ahead and grab these. And let's go ahead and get ourselves a couple arcane stone at this point. And we're going to go ahead and teach it how to make the otherworld stone. Let me go ahead and convert one of those. And we're going to set this up, I guess, on the coin line. The coin line's not going to have a whole lot of recipes, so we'll just use this. So we'll put in a pipe there and low crafting. What coins did I automate? 10, lumium, electrum, and then I think I need enderium was the other one that I needed, I think. But let's go ahead. Let's teach it a recipe for making other stone. So we're going to say if you take arcane stone, you get other stone, and then we'll just plug that up. And then let's go ahead and take our factory dropper. We're going to put this in sitting right there. As far as the setup for this, we're going to say we're not going to worry about this one because we're not actually going to have anything in the filters. We're going to say completely ignore the redstone. Just do continuous. We're going to leave drop delay as 1 second. We're going to do stack size as 32. There's no reason to slow this down because there's really no limit as to how fast it can craft. It can just craft, you know. So we're going to do that. And then it'll be able to feed the items in. So we're going to go ahead and set up the filter here for the factory dropper. And we're going to say that you're inserting on the coin line, which will be channel 4. So you can insert arcane stone. And then we just have to set up collection for this. So let's see, the route that we're going to take for this. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a vacuumulator. And let's actually just break off that bit of sandstone. We'll put our vacuumulator in right there. What do we need for the thermal filter? Oh yeah, that's dirt cheap. So there's our item filter. And we'll go ahead and just put that into our augment. And we're going to say this is going to be your allow list. And you can allow other stone. We'll add some other stuff to that. But for right now, we're going to just be allowing other stone into this. And then let's go ahead. Do I have another connector? I do. I'll have to make some. No, I won't. Actually, I think I've got everything that I'm going to need. Let's go ahead and just put a connector onto that. And we'll just say other flame collect for that. Just something. It's probably not going to matter. It's probably going to be the only vacuumulator that we've got on this system, but let's go ahead and say that 6 is our extract line. And we're going to go ahead and say that once we find it here, we're going to say that on line 6 you can extract stack 20. And then that way, whenever it makes other stone, then the other stone will get sent into the system, just like that. And that way this will get pulled out and collected for us, stuff that gets sent through there. And like I said, we'll be adding some other recipes to that, but now we can request other stone. I'll probably end up setting it up to stock it as well, but we're going to be using that through a retrieval node here in just a little bit. Now, not just yet. Probably at the beginning, I'll just order a batch of it once we get this all set up, but long term, we will be stocking slates with it. But I should already have the recipe in here for, other stone slabs. I did go ahead and set that up. And if we take a look at the slates, they take the other stone slate. You know, we made a few of these. Flux dust, not a problem. Other stone slabs, of course, we've got the crafting recipe and we can order these. And then, of course, source gems, we have quite a bit of those. So let's go ahead and order. I've got 896 of those. But let's go ahead and order ourselves source gem. Let's get ourselves some flux, which of course we have that coming in from our bees. And then let's go ahead and order ourselves 4 other stone slabs, because as I mentioned before, I don't want to mess with blood magic until we have slates set up so that I can just quickly order those. And the way we're going to be setting this up is we're going to be using filters. Let's go ahead and make an item line here, and we can add additional enchanting apparatuses onto this very, very easily. But for right now, and additional recipes, even if we have recipes that conflict at all, we can work with that. So like if, for example, the mid item corresponds to the same item that maybe goes into a pedestal, you know, that's probably going to come up, but we can deal with that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up here, we're going to say that you can insert flux dust, and then we're just going to go ahead and copy that, go down the line and paste it in, and then we'll paste it here, but we're going to remove the flux dust and this time say other stone slabs, and then just go down the line pasting that. I should have 4 other stone slabs and 4 flux dusts. Perfect. And then the enchanter main, we're going to go ahead, create a line here and say that you can accept source gems. So channel 1's probably going to be stuff that doesn't have source gems on the enchant pedestals. So it's just basically comes down to setting up our recipes intelligently at this point. So now let's go ahead and just pop down here. Let's open this up just slightly. Yeah, let's go ahead and get ourselves a diamond chest. Let me go ahead and get one other chest. This will just be for sending the items back into the system. I'm going to do a chest for now, just because it's cheaper. But down the road, we're actually going to have these automated here pretty soon, the entangled blocks, and we'll be switching a lot of our automation outputs to the entangled blocks. So, but let's go ahead. Let me get some more connectors too, because we're going to need them. We'll go ahead and order 2 more red connectors real quick. All right, but let's go ahead. Let's grab this line here. We're just going to run this over off of our main line. And we're going to have a crafting recipe. It's going to be a high crafting module here. And we're going to say this is how you make the other stone slates. No, I need that as the output though. No, I can't get those to show up in the output. That's fine. We're just going to do that. If you send these items, you're going to get something. And let's go ahead. We'll have this setting right there. And we're going to be doing an extraction module coming off of that. And then long term, this can go and it can just be a disentangled block. And then let's go ahead and do a connector onto this, connector onto that. We're going to say this is going to be enchant input 1. And then this over here is going to be output chest. Let's go ahead. We're going to set up an extraction line on 8. And this is going to be XNet item. Let's go ahead and create that. Let's do enchant input 1 as an extraction line, stack 20. And this is going to be output. Let's create, and we're going to say insert on this. And then let's go ahead. We're going to make ourselves our first batch of the slates real quick. And there we go. Let's go ahead and grab that, and we're going to set up on channel 8. We're going to set up an extraction line. Here we're going to say you're extracting from there, stack. And you're going to be extracting other stone slates. And then let's go ahead and just add those into this recipe and say that makes 2 other stone slates. So now everything should be in order for us to just order these in bulk. So let's go ahead and say, give us a stack of these. So it's going to order. If we take a look here, it should be ordering a bunch of other stone, then it's going to be crafting that into other stone slabs. If we can hurry up and beat it, maybe. Yeah, you can see arcane stone coming in. Oh, that's right. I forget with these factory droppers, you need to set the drop stack size, honestly, something low. Because what happens is, it sees this and it says, I have to have 32 items. We need to set this down to 1. And then you can see it's just going to drop. That's right. I remember running into that in a past series and having to adjust that. But you can see it's crafting up our other stone. One of these crafters back here, they don't really like light up, but one of them crafts slabs. I can't remember which one. And then if we come over, we should say, yeah, this is already crafting away for us. So, and it's making us those slates and automatically filling the items back in and crafting those for us. And then we can just add additional recipes and stuff. But like I said, we may end up wanting additional enchanting apparatuses. They're not the fastest thing in the world. And they do take some time to craft, especially when we're going to be making a lot of these slates and stuff like that. We may end up wanting additionals of these for sure. So if we take a look down here, we should see some items kind of piled up in here. Yeah, you can see our other stone slabs, flux dust, source gems. Very, very easy to automate, and it's going to save us a lot of time as far as moving into blood magic, because there's no way I want to have to craft all these manually. And you can see our other stone slates building up in here. Great. Okay, so now, at this point, before we move over to a little bit of blood magic work, because I do want to set up for blood magic and start making slates so we can actually progress that mod a little bit. But what I would like to do, our other entangled block that we made, what we're going to do, let's pop up to here. Let's go ahead and grab the natural altar as our other block, because we're going to be kind of wirelessly sending our XNet system. This is where our entangled blocks start really coming in handy at this point. But we're going to be sending up to our natural altar, and we can plug this up. Are we really out of iron? Oh yeah, we're out of iron at the moment. Let me run some more iron. I need to set that up for automatic management. You will notice that the lava line, it's automatically plugged up and filling over there. It seems to be running pretty good right now. I think there is a possibility that it'll run out, mainly due to the fact of how fast we're feeding in archwood, I think, is the big thing there, so. And I did some rearranging, but it's still breaking off, so I've got to rearrange it just a little bit more. Because I thought, well, maybe if I just run it through a gearbox, this was kind of a test run, but it is still breaking off these flywheels randomly. And actually, between last episode and this one, I did lose another flywheel. The vacuum must have not picked it up, probably this one, and it vanished, and yeah. Go ahead and send me a couple more of those. And there was our stack of other stone slates, because we're going to be putting these to use. Might even go ahead and order another batch of them. I'm doubtful that it even scratched our source. No. We used a jar, basically. But let's go ahead. This is going to be kind of the hub for a lot of our magical automation. So what I may end up doing, the only thing is, that wall's probably going to have another enchanting apparatus and stuff. Let's do our entangled blocks here. So this one's going to be our natural altar line. Now, right now, we don't have aura generation completely automatic, or automatic whatsoever. So it is going to be a little bit manual as far as keeping an eye on our aura that's over there. So not setting it up and just letting it just go crazy running. But I do want to set it up so that we can automatically make like our sunstone and stuff, because we're going to be automating living rock. I don't know if it might be next episode. Honestly, though, I'd like to do it at the same time I do living wood, and whenever I do living wood's going to be after we get our sylph. So I don't know. But then again, I guess it's not that big of a deal if we go ahead and automate it. So it might be next episode, but we'll see. I'd like to get living wood and living rock automated. But what I'd like to automate right this very second is just making it so that we can do like the sunstone and stuff a lot easier. So we'll go ahead and put that in, and we're going to label this one Natural Altar, because bear in mind that if we just take a look inside of here, it's just going to say entangled block. You know, it's not going to say what it is. So it is very important that when you're dealing with a lot of entangled blocks that you do label those. But let's go ahead, and actually I don't think that firmament is used. It's not really used for any enchanting apparatus stuff. No. So we'll do an additional recipe here with the firmament. And we'll have to add a few more things to this for sure. But let's go ahead and just add a low crafting. And we're going to say, this is how you make sunstone. And then we'll go ahead and say that you can insert firmament. And then you can extract. It's going to be sunstone in this case. So let me go get a piece of sunstone. Because, of course, with these, it's very important that we set and tell it what it's going to extract, because otherwise it would be able to extract firmament, and it would be able to extract stuff from the enchanting apparatus, so very important that we do set our filters there. And we're going to say that you can extract stock 20 sunstone. Alright, now at this point we can order sunstone, so for example, if we come over here, and let's say we wanted 20 sunstone. We should have 21 once it's done, because I'm going to put that back in there. But if we pop up, we should, here in a second, we should see sunstone or firmament coming in. It's going to get converted into sunstone. It's going to get pulled out. More firmament comes in, and it gets crafted up. So, and then once we get the aura automated, I mean, crafting sunstone, it doesn't take a lot of aura, so it's not really a big deal. But long term, we'll have some more expensive stuff. I think the most expensive thing is summoning the masticator. But we're only ever going to do that once, and we probably won't even do it in this area. We'll see. We might do it in this area, but I don't know. We'll get to that at some point. It's been on my list, my birthing altar. I did go ahead and get this crafted up. I thought I was recording at the time, and I wasn't. It was a bit back. Not a big deal, because whenever I made it, I thought we were going to be able to use the episode, but we didn't really have time, and then it's kind of gotten pushed to the back of my list, but it's fairly straightforward to craft. Just luminous crafting table in our astral altar over there to pull that off. But yeah, so our sunstone is crafting away, and that's with firmament and that part automated. At that point, it's just setting it down next to Pure Daisy and breaking it, and there we go. We have living rock. So that part's pretty straightforward. So, all right, now at this point, let's go ahead. What sort of spawners do we have at the moment? We have Illusioner, Blaze, Zombie. Let's take the Zombie. And then while we're at it, let's go ahead and get ourselves a stack of sugar-ish. And let's go ahead and get ourselves some clocks. I'm assuming, anyways, that these are default. Let me check. I don't know that you can change them. Yeah, sugar's minimum, spawn delay. Where in the world did you come from? Aha! So they have actually removed the maximum spawn delay feature, which is good because it does mean that it makes these spawners a lot less powerful. Doing that, because it means that there's always going to be that maximum time. You can cut down the minimum time, but your maximum time, which of course is like the most important modifier for speed. We do have spawn count. We have max nearby entities. Both of these are actually really good. For the way that we're going to be using it. Nearby players, not that important for us. And I don't think redstone control is going to be that important, so we don't actually need the clocks in this case. That's a visual bug. We did get our 21 sunstone, so that's great. Let's go ahead and take the sugar. Let's take some fermented spider eyes. We'll just take the 8 that we've got on hand. And then how many gas tiers do we have? We've got to get something set up for those. Actually, I think Booby, yeah. Booby can do it, Okay, well, let's pop over to the Undergarden. And remember that when it comes to our setups that we're going to be doing in the Undergarden and in Adam over the coming episodes, remember that all of these are very... where's my thing? All of these are very short-lived and temporary. It's not going to be anything that we keep long-term. So... And basically we just have to get to the point of blood magic where we can make a master blood orb, and then we can actually do kind of a more permanent setup where we have it set up in our actual base. But for right now we have to do all of our blood magic in the Undergarden, and we have to do all of our occultism within Adam. So, which we haven't officially started occultism just yet, but we are quickly approaching that point, because there's one particular really major thing that I want from occultism. Alright, let's go ahead. I think I've got Diamond Wand in here. Go ahead and build that up. I guess we don't really have to do a ceiling on this. There's no fire or anything like that that we have to worry about. One thing I would like to do is... Let's go ahead and make ourselves some slabs. And we'll just put that over the top. And then beyond that, we're just going to put in our spawner. 3, 4 here. And then let's go ahead, fermented spider eyes. Oh, we can only do 1. Oh yeah, this is the zombies with the fish heads. That's fine, because we'll be able to keep this spawner, you know. And let me just go ahead and zoom up. Oh, this is going to be really, really slow. It does make me think that before getting rituals in place, self-sacrifice really might be the route to go. And since it's always going to be these zombies, I'm actually just going to open this up a little bit. Now, what's it take for the Master Blood Orb? Just out of curiosity. Oh, Shadow Steel. Okay, well, that's actually not too bad then in that case. I thought it was going to be like something more expensive. I'm going to go ahead and block this off just a little bit. So it's less likely that we have a bunch of mobs coming in, but man, the apotheosis spawners are substantially slower. I mean, there's other ways we could go about summoning mobs, I guess, but not used to these not having the maximum speed increase, you know. Well, let me get a few things together, because I do want to set this up for like semi-automation. Okay, I think I'm just going to go with a couple high extraction modules, and while we're at it, let's go ahead and order ourselves, let's just do 2 stacks. I wonder why it's not wanting to order more than that, because it's literally just arcane stone, flux, and source gems, which we have plenty of all that stuff. Well, anyways, we'll let that run for a little bit, and we'll come back to that in a moment, because we're going to end up wanting a bunch of that, but what we're going to do, let's go ahead, we'll have it here and here, pipe here and here, we'll do a pipe there. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do the first extraction module here, and we'll just drop in, let's do like a half stack, we'll start with a half stack of those. They'll get pumped in, they're going to start draining this. And then I'll be able to fix that in just a moment once I kill off some of these zombies. And the nice thing is there is rewards like every few steps. Like if we make 6 blank runes, we get 2 speed runes. If we make 16 blank runes and 4 glowstone, we get 4 sea lanterns, 4 runes of sacrifice. Of course, sea lanterns being an alternative to using glowstone. And then once this converts over, we'll add the filter in there and the extraction. So, how much blood do these actually take? 1,000 each. So we're going to need 32,000 for this. Oh man, it's going to be slow at first. But it will become kind of progressively easier. Now, I was looking at the recipe for the runes of sacrifice. They're actually not that bad. There's a couple things we'll have to automate, like mainly the glyphs and the making like the runes. Like right here, we can use a red corundum for the runic altar, so it will be good for us to go ahead and set up our corundum farm here in the next few episodes as well, so we'll probably push on to that. But at least once we get past this first tier, we'll technically be able to make runes of sacrifice at that point, so we'll also be able to get some just from the quest, but no, we're going to start sputtering out here a little bit. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, it might be worth me grabbing these guys because they're worth a bunch. Yeah, there we go. 4.3, yeah. It's probably worth us collecting these guys, just pulling guys in. Because that gives us substantially more life points. I think we can still pull off this craft. It's just slow. It's just crazy slow at the moment. There we go. There was our slates. We got a half stack of blank slates. Probably just to be on the safe side, I'll probably run the next ones just a little bit less. Now let's put our extraction in right here. And let's say, right now we're going to be allowing just blank slates. And then let's go ahead and throw in like another half stack will be good. But yeah, those golems, if we have capturing, which, I mean, we don't really use melee weapons, but it might be worth us getting a melee weapon and doing capture. Well, probably not. I mean, I can get by with this. It's probably not worth the time it would take to actually get a golem through capturing, realistically, but I think 16 is a lot more manageable of a number too. Because, of course, we can store 10,000 in this, so there we go. Those just got crafted up. That's another 16. Now, at this point, it might be worth us going ahead and getting ourselves some runes. And the easiest way to get our initial runes to help us out is just to get the ones from the quests. So, let's go ahead and pop back through. And the thing about blood magic is technically right out the gate, you go ahead and just craft up a bunch of blank runes and be set. And then just kind of upgrade them as we can, sort of a thing. Would be fine. But there's some more slates. Now, I want to set up a recipe here because in order to make the blank slates, it's 6 blank slates, 2 calcs of end, and some living wood for each one. So let's go ahead. Let's get that stuff. And, of course, our system already knows how to make calcs of end. It doesn't know how to make living wood just yet, but that's okay. We can just make up a batch of that. But let's go ahead and set up some filters here. Enchant pedestal, we're going to say you can insert calcs of end, and then it's going to be blank slates all the rest of the way down. And then in the center, you can accept living wood. Okay, now if I was to throw in that, we should say that gets pulled out, and then the living wood gets pulled out, and it's going to craft us our very first blank slate. There we go. Or our first 2. I forget they craft 2 at a time. They actually go pretty far. I was thinking that was 1-to-1 for some reason. Now let's go ahead. In here, I do want to set up a recipe, and this is going to be the recipe for that. You're going to be making just that. And over here on the extraction, you can extract that. Okay. Now, at this point, what do we need for the quest? Is it 6? Yeah, it's 6 for the quest. 16 for the following quest, though, which has the runes that we're actually more interested in. So let me go ahead and get a bit more living wood so that we can actually pull this off. And let me go ahead and order another 2 of those, because we do have that 1 living wood in the system. We should say the items start filling into the S. And then it's just waiting on the, basically waiting on the other calcs of end at the moment. Alright, now I just threw in 8 more living wood, so let's go ahead and order another 16 slates. Or runes. I may not have enough blank slates for that. It's just crafting a bunch of calcs of end at the moment. But we should say, yeah, that's just started crafting 1. Okay, and that's crafting slates now. Oh yeah, I will need to set that to limit the speed that it comes in. But there we go. There's our 16 blank runes. And that's going to finish up. We're going to get 2 speed runes. And then if we get the 4 glowstone, there we go. There's our 4 glowstone. And then we can technically make the tier 3 blood altar. And then, of course, we've gotten this. We do get an epic blood magic box with wooden paths. Okay. Wait a second. Did we get 4? Yeah, I think we did actually get 4 runes of sacrifice from that. And then they want us to get 28 and then the bloodstone bricks for the runes of capacity. Okay, now technically at this point we can shoot on to the tier 3. We can bypass a little bit and go straight for the Magician's Blood Orb, which does take a mana tablet, which we can't currently pull off because it does require those mana pearls. But we can do this one. We can do the Caged Heart for the Apprentice. So let's go ahead and order the Caged Heart. There we go. There's the Caged Heart. And we'll at least go ahead and upgrade our altar. I know we're getting pretty close to wrapping up point, but we'll go ahead and upgrade our altar and get the next tier of Blood Orb crafted up real quick. And the cardinal directions, we're going to go ahead and do Runes of Sacrifice. And then for these back ones, we can just do the speed runes, which means they won't come into play right now. It as a tier 2, it only looks at the cardinal direction runes. There's that. And then what does it take for, like, the speed rune? I think all of it takes the runic altar, right? Yeah. Now, technically, we need 20 blank runes to push on to the next tier, so for now, this will be good. Let's go ahead. Well, actually, we can go ahead and do the Caged Heart for now, which is important because it's going to allow us to do higher crafts within the alchemy table, which is what we want to unlock right now. But these 4 Runes of Sacrifice actually help us out substantially as far as being able to just get a lot more blood in this quickly. There's our new Blood Orb. And we'll go ahead and just drop in another 16 slights there. And at this point, we really don't need the weak Blood Orb that much, so I'm just going to put that into there for now. I'll go ahead and quiet these zombies down. There we go. We'll keep the death sounds, but... Okay, I got the rest of those slights crafted up. So we have a little over 2 stacks. We'll be able to order up a bunch of blank slights. But there's one thing I want to do to this, because it slipped my mind when we were first setting it up until after we set it up. I did go ahead and I split these recipes off. So we have Flux Dust and we have Calx of End. Now later on, we could have them both through the same input line and do about 4 recipes per input line would be fine. But to do that cleanly and not have connectors kind of coming up the sides and stuff like that, I'm going to want disentangled blocks or entangled blocks. That's a lot of the reason I'm using these is to keep our setups really, really clean looking, because then we can just facade the bottoms and stuff. And until we get our entangled blocks automated, I don't want to do that just yet, because it'll be a little bit resource intensive, a little bit time intensive. So we're just going to be doing single recipes for now. That's going to allow us to cover about 4 recipes until we start getting into entangled blocks through this alchemy system, and then we'll be doing another, or enchanting system, and then we'll be doing another one a little bit later. Now, channel 7, we're going to go ahead and do an XNet logic system, because since we're using pretty pipes for automation, it is important that we limit what items it's inputting based on, you know, because if it starts crafting, like it puts the slabs out for a slate, then we don't want it trying to put out blank slates to try to make an empty rune, you know, or a blank rune. So I do want to kind of limit that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a logic system, and we're going to go ahead and just create, and we're going to be doing a sensor. And this is going to be, let's say item and item. And we'll go ahead and enable this on white and red, let's say. And then let's go ahead and just copy this and go right down the line and just paste this in. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a look here. That's Flux, that's Calx. So what we're going to do is say Flux, Calx. And then the next one is Flux Calx. So we're just going to say Flux Calx. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say if these items are greater than 0, emit on those colors. Probably should have set these to greater before I copied, but that's fine. And then all we have to do now is pop down, and we're going to have a couple little lines here. These are just going to be redstone lines. We're going to have about 4 of them, 4 or 5 of them, something like that. And they're just going to run down. We'll end up expanding out the redstone, but let's do it like that. And then we're going to set up a couple connectors. One here, there, there, there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say this is going to be line 1, red out. And this will be line 1 in. And this one will be line 2 white out, and then line 2 in. And we'll just add additional colors down through here that connect to additional redstone. And basically just going to set up a little logic line down here so that it checks to make sure that none of these items are in the system. So, and then what we're going to do is line 1 red out. We're going to add this onto the redstone line. We're going to say it's going to be an output. Redstone is going to be 15. It's going to be enabled on the color red. Now, it's important to note that if you enable multiple colors, it's going to check all 4 of those colors. So we're doing this one at a time because we're just checking for any of these colors, basically, that aren't the main color that, you know, we're after. So line 1 red out, line 2, let's go ahead and just copy this and paste it in, and this is going to be the white color. And then on these are going to be basically the line 1 in, the line 2 in. So we're going to have a sensor. It's going to be 10 ticks. And we're going to say that if the redstone is greater than 0, then you're going to emit on the color purple. And then we'll just copy this connection, paste it over. This one's going to be the same thing, except it's going to be checking and outputting on the cyan color for line 2. And then what we're going to do is just go down the line here. Line 1, you can run on the purple color. Line 2 can run on the cyan color. Okay, because it's going to make sure that there's not, in the case of Calx Event, it's only going to be able to insert if there's no flux dust. And this is true across all 8 of our enchantment pedestals. So it's going to check all of those, and as long as none of these filtered items are in there. Now, it is a little bit tricky when you have items that show up across multiple recipes, but for this first one, we won't have anything like that. And we'll probably try to split up our recipes intelligently. Just remember that there's a lot of colors, and with entangled blocks, we can keep everything really, really clean and have everything, you know, give it all a bit of logic as well. So, oh, and I'm sorry, it's going to be less than 1, not greater than 0. Then I should be able to order like a stack of those and, you know, maybe 10 of these. And we can get those ordered, and we should see items start coming into this. Okay, and I'd forgotten to set the redstone on this to 15, so make sure those are set. But then if we take and we throw in all those items right there, we should see, you see Calx Event went in, blank slates go in, it's going to craft, and then it makes an item. The next items come in. There goes the blank slates. The last item. Also, the extractions, I did set these down to 60 ticks, so, you know, 3 seconds, but of course it can move whole batches like it does with those blank slates there. But that way it controls and basically monitors like what recipe it's doing, so it's only going to send the items. And then, for example, if like, for example, when the next one, I think we have one more that's going to craft, when the Calx Event comes in, I'm going to pull one of those off. You could say it sees that it's supposed to be crafting with Calx Event, so it puts the blank slates out, but it never puts the flux dust into there. So if it's waiting on something to finish crafting, it's just going to wait until that gets done. And that way, we don't have to worry about it like just a second ago. It doesn't just spew items all over the place, like blank slates and flux dust and otherworld slabs, and, you know, it doesn't just make a huge mess. So a little bit of logic, a little bit of redstone, and it's going to control that for us. But anyways, with that, I know it's wrapping up point 4 this episode, so we are going to be ending this one out here. We're actually using up a bit of source, making all these blank runes, I think. But anyways, we're going to wrap up this episode here, and then next episode, when we come back, we're going to be picking back up with a bit of magic, doing a bit more automation. A lot of automatic setups that we need in place here soon, like the living rock, living wood, corundum. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.